In today's reaction video, greetings and welcome back to another reaction video. As you can probably tell, I'm coming down with a cold again. Today's reaction video is entitled How I Met My American Wife. It's something a little bit different. I'm looking forward to this story. Big fan of Laurence Brown of Lost in the Pond. Links in the description. If I was to guess, maybe it was from university or something like that. Can't wait to learn a little bit more about them. Before we do get into this, I do apologise about my voice and coming down with yet another cold. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. I'm going to quit my jibber jabber before I start coughing. And let's get on with the video. Oh, I like that intro.
So a question I'm often asked is, how did you and your wife meet? So did you meet in America? Did you meet in England? Did you meet halfway between? Not sure how that works. Presumably in the Atlantic Ocean, where we would have frozen to death. So, but we actually met in England back in 2005. I was living in Lancaster at the time, having just graduated from university with a degree. I know, weird, right? And my wife, well, she wasn't my wife then, she was just a person, had come to study abroad at the university I just graduated from. And we were both actors, and we were in a show together, a student-written show that was going to the Edinburgh Fringe that year. And we were cast as kind of enemy characters in it. So we were at each other's throat the whole way through the show. And some might say that that was good practice for what would come later. Some might say that, but not me and my wife. We have a perfectly happy marriage, and in any case, any arguments that do happen, I win. So she's not here to rebut that right now. She's on a walk. So I thought I'd do this video while she's out. And it was nice. I mean, she was studying abroad, like I said, from the US in the UK, and I got to show her parts of the UK that I myself hadn't even been to. You know, Canterbury, Brighton. She had an ice cream stolen out of her hand at Brighton, not by one of the local youths, but by a seagull. It was a very surreal moment, but it told me at that moment this was destiny. We went to Brighton, and we did it, and I caught that on film, at least in my dreams I did. I didn't actually do it, and that's one of the biggest regrets, because I feel like that video would have gone viral. And that was it. It was just us at university and me showing her around the country. We even went to Blackpool on a very hot, sweltering day, and she even got me in the sea. I mean, she got me to go in the sea. She didn't get me in the sea. That was, sounds monstrous. But yeah, I mean, long time ago now. It almost seems like a faded memory in many ways, but memories that, of course, that are part of who we are as a couple. And it was fabulous. And then she had to go back. You know, her semester was up. She was just there for the one semester, the Christmas semester, and then went back to America. And then we continued our relationship from either side of the Atlantic, ironically, given that that's where we met. So I've just discounted that already. It wasn't actually there. But, you know, and that was hard. It was quite hard to navigate that in many ways. On the one hand, you were in a relationship. On the other hand, that person wasn't there every day. So you sort of went about your business as you would as a single person, not sort of romantically speaking, but just in terms of you'd wake up every day alone, you'd go to work without saying goodbye to anybody, you know, and then saying hello when you got back.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder. And just on a side note, if anyone's got any remedies for bad chesty coughs, let me know in the comments below. I'd really like to hear your transatlantic remedies.
Except you would when you got on Skype with them, or in those days it was MSN Chat. Who remembers that? I do, because I used it religiously for this very reason. And it was quite weird, you know. But I've always said to people, you know, if you can stick through that, then when you actually get together, it might feel that little bit more worth it, and the relationship can then, you know, do what it needs to do, flourish, presumably, or end if you're not meant to be. My wife and I were definitely meant to be, I think, because we've obviously stuck it out, and we're still here together. But the process thereafter, the going through those 2 years, was also tricky, because then, you know, she came to live in London for a little bit. It was great. We loved it. I got laid off from my job.
I'm sorry, but That music made me jump. I wasn't expecting that music. And I started thinking, hang on a minute, someone got a stereo on or something. You don't know, but it's quite late at night here. And I was like, did the neighbours just start playing music? I didn't realise it was part of the video.
We didn't love it anymore, so we had to leave. And as I've said before, we moved to Indiana, we moved to the US, where cost of living is significantly lower than it is in London. And we tried our luck there. And that, at that point, is when we applied for my visa and then my right to live and work in the United States. And we've been here ever since.
Oh, he's smoking there.
Sometimes I do wonder about this. There's a song by one of my favourite bands, Pulp. It's called Something Changed, and it's a song about what would have happened if we hadn't met. You know, would we have gone our separate ways? Would we have done all these things? And I always wonder about that. Would I have come to live in the United States? Part of me thinks that I would have, given my interest in the country. And would she be living where she is now, doing what she's doing? I think you do, as a couple, influence each other quite highly down different roads. I've chosen the road, for instance, of being a YouTube creator. Would I have done that if I'd never met her? Would I have seen all these parts of America that I've so far seen on journeys with her? Don't know.
It's really interesting. I mean, this is on obviously a much smaller scale, but I moved away from my hometown. Again, it was only 70 miles and nothing like these guys. Same country, just up the road, 2 hours drive, only because the roads are quite rubbish, to be honest. But if I had never moved to Bristol, would I have got together with my wife? Who knows? What would I be doing now? It's not even worth thinking about, because we wouldn't have our little girl, we wouldn't have this wonderful life and YouTube channel. But it is interesting to sort of think, wow, I guess it's like that sliding doors kind of moment. Anywho, let's get on with the video.
Don't know. I do love that question, and I'm very glad for every moment we've spent together, and look forward to the many years that this continues. There is one thing that I would like to do should we go back to England, and that's take her to the city of York. What you might not know about my wife is that she's heavily into history, very fascinated by history, much like I am. And I've been to York many a time. It's one of my favourite cities in England.
Wow.
And we never got to go. We got to go to Cambridge, as I said, Brighton and Canterbury. We got to go to the Lake District, London, and all these other places. I mean, York is one of those places that just somehow got away. We just never got around to doing it.
Come to Bristol as well, Laurence. If you are watching, come to Bristol and we'll take you out for a coffee, maybe lunch, and maybe a beer. Drink responsibly.
And I just love to see her face as she's seeing genuine old Roman ruins right there, which cannot be replicated, of course, in the United States. I think something else would be very interesting about seeing that is that we met in Lancaster, which is sort of the rival city of York. In this world of, you have to pick a side, we'd sort of automatically pick Lancaster in the War of the Roses because that's where we met, that's where we went to university. But honestly, I have just a softer spot for York, and I rather think she would too. Talk about sitting on the fence, that's what this would be. Or in fact, in the case of York, it would be sitting on a wall, a very big wall, that the Romans built, and that is something that's marvellous about it. I've got a little off track here. This was all about how we...
Very quickly, not a million miles away from us, actually very close to us, Bath, or Laurence might say Bath. Very, very deep history there as well.
We met. When I think about how we met, I think just as much about the present and the future as I do the past, because the past was always leading to where we are now, and it's leading to the future, which ironically I want me to take us to the past because of the historical aspect of it. This is all very confusing. All that to say, Tara, I love you, you're fabulous, and keep it up, lassie. Lassie was a dog, you're not a dog. I meant lass, as in girl, it's British slang. So you know the difference.
Guys, thank you so much for watching right to the end. I do apologise about my voice. I'm coming down with a blooming cold yet again. I really do genuinely feel like I've been on this journey, as do I'm sure a lot of you guys do. This journey with Laurence and his life from being in the UK, getting married, living in the US, having a successful YouTube business, and learning along the way. Guys, if you did enjoy that video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps us and the channel out. And join us on this journey to learn as much as we can about the US of A. Now, before I cough myself silly, all that leaves me to say is take care, God bless, and see y'all in the next video.